Hello everyone. Today we will start programming in Python. Python programming language. Python is an open source and cross-platform programming language. It has become increasingly popular over the last 10 years. It was created by Gerardo van Rossum. It was first released in 1991. Python is a multi-purpose programming language, scientific computing and calculations, simulations, web development, etc. The latest version of Python is 3.11.5, which can be downloaded from the official website of python.org from the download section. Top programming language. Python is on the top as compared to the other programming languages, according to the IEEE Spectrum Rankings 2023. You can see that Python is on the top as compared to the other languages. After Python, we have Java, C++, C, and other languages. Interpreted versus compiled programming languages. In order to know whether the Python is interpreted or the compiled programming language, it's necessary to understand what is interpreted and compiled programming languages. With a compiled language, source code is reduced to a set of machine-specific instructions before being saved as an executable file. With the interpreted language, the code is saved in the same format that you enter. So in case of compiled language, we have the compiler that converts code into the executable file, which is a set of machine-specific instructions. But in case of interpreted language, we have the interpreter that do not generate any executable file. Instead, the code is saved in the same format that we have entered. Compiled programs generally run faster than the interpreted ones. As the compiled programs generate the executable file, we can directly run this executable file, so it's much faster as compared to the interpreted ones. Compiler converts the source code into machine code, that is executable file, and we can directly run this file all in once and is portable. So if you want to give your source code to your colleague or your friend, there is no need to give your source code. Instead, you can give the executable file. Your friend can directly run this executable file in order to get the desired output out of that program. But it's important to remember that if the executable file is generated on the Windows platform, then your friend must also have the Windows platform. Interpreted programs must be reduced to machine instructions at runtime line by line. As compared to interpreted program, compiled program, they run all in once, but interpreted programs, they run line by line. So this is a little bit slower as compared to the compiled programs. Interpreter needs source code and the copy of source code need to be transferred. It reduces the code privacy. So if your colleague or your friend needs your program in the interpreted programming language, then you have to give a copy of source code, as the interpreted language doesn't generate any executable file. But in the case of compiled programs, you can give the executable file without worrying about the source code. But in case of interpreted language, you have to give the source code, which reduces the code privacy. So Python is both compiled and interpreted programming language. Interpreter doesn't generate any executable file. In Python, interpreter generate compiled Python file, which is hidden from the programmer. Hence, in most of the books and sites, it's referred as interpreted language. But in fact, Python is both compiled and interpreted programming language. So how Python is both compiled and interpreted language? This is how we can prove. Before proceeding in this, we have to create a Python file. So first of all, we have created a basic and a simple Python file. We name the file as hello and we save it .py, which is py. Py shows that the file is now a Python file, and we can write the Python code in this hello file. Now we have to interpret this file. For that, we need to change the directory where that file resides. In our case, our file resides in the Python programming folder, which is on the desktop. So we have to change the directory, which is cd desktop. After that, we have to write cd python_programming. Now we are in the python_programming folder. In this folder, we have our actual file, Python file, which is hello.py. And now we are going to interpret this file using the command python hello.py. After entering this command, hello is printed on the screen, which is the desired output out of this program. When we go back to our actual folder python_programming where our program resides, hello.py, we will observe that even after interpreting this file, no other file has been generated. Only hello.py file will be there. In order to prove that Python is both compiled and interpreted language, you have to open Python Interactive Shell in CMD. For that, you have to write Python. After entering Python command, you have to import module, which is py_compile. So you have to import the py_compile module by writing the command import py_compile. Now in order to compile this file, we have to select a function compile out of this module. For that purpose, you have to write the command py_compile.compile, and within the parentheses, you have to write hello.py within a single quote. This will generate the compiled Python file in the folder __pycache__, which proves that Python is both compiled and interpreted language. So this is how we generated the Python compiled file, which is an intermediate file and which is usually hidden from the programmer or the developer. So in order to get that file, you can see that we have written here Python. If you have already Python interpreted installed in your system, you can see the version of that, and you can use the Python Interactive Shell in CMD. But if you don't have, you can easily install the Python latest version from the official website python.org. After entering this statement, hello.cpython-311.pyc will be generated in the __pycache___ folder, and this folder will reside in our current folder, and currently we are in the folder of Python programming, and this folder will actually be generated where our actual Python programming file resides. So you can see that this is .pyc, which is Python compiled file, and this proves that we have generated the Python compiled file, and hence this proves that this is both compiled and interpreted language, and this actually generates the bytecode, which is usually hidden from the programmer, but we can see using this specific module pycompile and using its function compile. Now this bytecode is portable to other machines, even having different platforms. Now come towards Python packages. Python doesn't have all of the functionality built into its core. It needs to install different packages for different domains and tasks. And it is the typical approach for open source software. We can create our own packages and distribute them. We need to download and install these packages separately. Instead of this, we have a choice to use the distribution packages like Anaconda, the package we need for scientific computing. Other Python packages include Desktop GUI, development, database development, web development, software development. You can explore other applications for Python from the official website of python.org about apps. Furthermore, you can see that we have an official website for PyPI, which is the Python package indices, where you can find, install, and publish Python packages with the Python package index. Python packages for science and numerical computations. NumPy, fundamental package for scientific computing with Python. SciPy, scientific and technical computing. It contains modules for optimization, linear algebra, integration, interpolation, special functions, FFT signal and image processing, ODE solvers, and other tasks related to science and engineering. Matplotlib, Python 2D plotting library. Pandas, Python data analysis library.